Growing up in Dubai, such a fast-paced moving city, you typically want to do better and feel like it's an environment that you grow up in. You need to make money in both directions, and that brought me into the world of trading. When I started backtesting, it kind of showed me that this system works, this doesn't, and it was such a passion and such an impact. My purpose right now is to be the best version of myself and achieve the goals I set out to do. I see the opportunity. You have to take the risks and make money or lose money, but you're in total control of that. My name is Sharpe, known online as Sharpe, and I was born and raised in Dubai. I grew up in a version of Dubai that you wouldn't recognize today, that what is presented online. Over 20 years ago, it was a very basic place that was very tight-knit. Everybody knew everyone. And my parents came down here at that time to grow with the country. And for me to grow up in an environment where I grew with the country, you can see Dubai is one of the countries that has grown rapidly compared to the rest of the world and the things that they've been able to achieve. And to have that around me while I grew up was a very motivating environment. Plus, with both of my parents working, it was an environment that allowed me to shape me into who I am today. And I really do appreciate that and find it a big factor of why I am where I am today. I was not the smartest student or like a studious type student. I was actually dyslexic growing up, and I was held back in grade 3, which is kind of useless. And at that time, it affected me because I lost my friends, and I felt like I would finish school later. Like from that age, I knew I wanted to finish school as fast as possible, and to be held back was pretty painful, to lose friends and also to feel like it's like the world telling you there's maybe something wrong with you. And at that stage, you kind of like, no, there isn't. And you wanted to prove them wrong, sort of, and prove that, no, it is just something that I don't see things exactly the same, but I am the same. I think what shaped my work ethic the most was a combination of things. First of all, growing up in Dubai, such a fast-paced moving city, you typically want to do better and feel like it's an environment that you grow up in. Second thing is actually in school, having that being held back is kind of a push for you to want to do better because you want to feel normal. And then of course, accounting to my parents, setting up a standard, setting up something to look up to of them both working and stuff is definitely an environment that shaped me to who I am. My parents influenced my outlook in a way that I only realize now. And initially it was just setting the environment of hard work ethic, but the thing that I realize now is they set up an environment where they had to take a risk leaving their home country to see opportunity elsewhere and grow with a country as fast as Dubai was growing. So they saw that opportunity, they took the risk to leave their country and move here and basically set up a business, and not set up a business, but work for businesses and grow from that, that environment. And for me, that has set a tone to where I see the opportunity. You have to take the risks and you have to go outside of your comfort zone, where the most of the population and most of the world just stay in the regular circle, same comfort zone, and don't make the changes. Whereas when you make a change, it actually makes a difference. And that is something that I see now and make sure to do every single day, is just take those risks. I started trading seriously in around 2020. That is when basically I invested in crypto and I realized I only make money when things go up. I wanted to learn a skill that I believe is the ultimate form of investing, which is trading, because you can control both and make money on the upside and the downside, which is something you really don't have. As an investor, you rely on the asset or the company to do good. As a business owner, you rely on your clients to buy it. But trading as a whole is the ultimate FU to that, because you only rely on yourself and your skill and you versus the market. Literally every single day you could click a button and make money or lose money, but you're in total control of that. No one dictates anything for you. My biggest win in trading was actually in crypto, my Bitcoin long. This turned 5 figures into 6 figures, and it was an amazing trade, something I held over. You could call it a trade, but since I got out at a certain price, I call it as a trade, not as an investment, because that was always my plan. My biggest loss is actually that same position. The reason why is because if I had more money at the time, I would have been able to turn into 7 figures and make it in a massive position, but that's always the case. In terms of physically, in actually my trading journey and Forex, I learned the skill of trading, which avoided me to have bad risk management skills. Being in an environment growing up in crypto, if you went wrong, you would blow all the money you made. So I only ended up losing $4,000 on an accidental position, leaving a limit order open on my account, forgetting about it and coming to find out that order was triggered and I was holding drawdown, no stop loss. I closed the position immediately, 4,000 down the drain, and never did that since. If I had more capital, I probably would have actually lost more than made more. The reason being is that I came from crypto. My first account I ever opened was $25,000, and that was honestly too much. I only risked 1%, which is $250, which I was comfortable with. But if I had more capital to just be more reckless and not really care, I would actually lose, because when you come into this game of trading, you start by losing and you have to make a change. So people think that having more capital is a positive, but it's actually the complete opposite. And people with more capital tend to be a little bit more wilder, and you'll actually lose more money. What drives me to keep showing up every day is that trading is my why. I've done over 600 live streams on YouTube of my trading over the past 2 years, and it's because I simply enjoy it. It's my routine. It's something I do on a daily basis. It has created what I wanted to create in life, and that is exactly what motivates me to show up and to impact people and to see positive change in people is the real why. Of course, the money is an outcome of that, but you can't really only focus on the money, because it's always there to eventually just fade out, right? You could earn something, buy something you've always wanted, or have something you always wanted, and then that moment disappears. But creating long-term memories and creating an impact actually resonates with you much further than that, and it's an enjoyable experience to have that. It comes with difficulties, but that's the game you sign up to when you start this journey. I think people don't understand that the only equation is time, not success. Success is always achievable, but people hate the time it takes to succeed. And it's because you see a lot of these young kids online on social media promoting their lives, and even maybe I might be a part of that, but people don't see that behind the journey or the lifestyle that I live or what I've built for myself. It's nothing compared to what others have built for themselves, and I consider myself and be very humble at my position and grateful at all times. But when you look at the bigger picture, there's been 6 years of journey before I've even touched anything that I have right now. And people do not give it time. And that's not 6 years of, let me give this a go. That is 6 years of, this is my everything. I gave it everything, and I did my best every single day, sacrificed what I could, and not what I could, what I had to. And it's a big difference of that. And that's the equation. The equation is only time. If you can keep doing it and just stick through it, you will reach success either way, because you will keep finding a way to make it happen. I think people quit way too early in trading because 90% statistically fail, and a lot of that 90% is actually people quitting, and they quit on the fact that trading is just freaking hard. And it's no lie to that. It's a skill that is going to bring out the most emotions that you've ever felt in any type of thing. And look at entrepreneurs. How much percent of entrepreneurs quit? How much percent of entrepreneurs fail a business? It's all the same. But when it's so easy, accessible like trading, literally a computer screen, you don't have to build a shop and put stuff and buy equipment. It just feels like things should happen quicker and easier, but they don't. And especially when you're losing money in the process and not seeing results, it just feels like this whole equation that you can't get things right. And it becomes something that you just end up saying, look, I just can't make this work, because you have a goal of making 50, 100K, but you haven't even made $100, and you can't accept making $100 first. You want to accept, I need to be from $0 to $10,000 a month. And there's no in between. And when you miss the in between, it's just a mess. Backtesting was very important for me because there was a phase where I was very lost in trading. Nothing would work. I didn't know who to trust, what to look at. And backtesting gave me an idea to go on a simulator and simulate the trades to actually see a system work on previous data and prove to me in the future it would actually work. It was very painful to feel lost because you don't know what to do. But when I started backtesting, it kind of showed me that this system works, this doesn't. And it was such a passion and such an impact that it actually encouraged me to make my own backtesting software called PipLabs. My purpose right now is to be the best version of myself and achieve the goals I set out to do. And I do this for myself, to prove that I can do it, and I enjoy the process between it. I also want to make people proud, especially my parents, who put a lot into me. You can never repay them, and it would be nice to give back by at least their son, doing the best to their ability and making an impact to a bigger, larger audience by just sharing your experiences, not opinions. And that sharing my experiences, I found, can help a lot of people instead of just being the guy who shares your opinion and says you have to do this like this. Instead of saying this is why I did something, this is what worked for me, maybe it can help you. Money is a tool. It's a tool and a luxury that you can buy experiences that you need money to buy. And it's something that I can buy enjoyable experiences that cost money, such as a nice car, a watch, a holiday, a luxury stay at somewhere. But it's merely a tool. It will never deeply satisfy. It will temporarily satisfy. You can keep buying yourself satisfaction, but you need to find a mode where you basically use the money to experience things, but do something bigger than just money, and the money follows. They have a saying, it's lonely at the top. I would never consider myself close even to the top, but what I mean by winning alone is that you can't share the experience with anyone. And this is when people start to reach some level of success. Say you do something amazing and now you can afford XYZ, you can go here and do that. There's maybe people not on your level. They don't move as quick as you. They don't do things at the same intensity that you would do, such as it doesn't even need to be winning in terms of money, it's just winning in life. 5 years ago, I lost someone very close to me, and this kind of makes you realize how limited your time is on this world and how things can be taken from you with a blink of an eye. And this proves that whatever you set out to do, you just have to do it, because you're not here to stay. You don't really get a second chance, and you just have to do your best. And regardless of the outcome, even if you fail, at some point, you know, your chapter will come to an end, and you need to make sure that you did everything in your power to have what you want and do what you want when you want. And in order to do that, you just need to take those risks. And it kind of changed that for me, and realize I have to step out of a shell and be someone who I want to be. My long-term goals will be to keep doing the small tasks correctly and not move fast, but move correctly. I want to dive into, obviously, build different companies and build a portfolio in real estate and just end up doing shit and creating good memories. And you know, that just feels like I get satisfied from that stuff, and impacting as much people as I can, showing them the journey, and hopefully they learn, take inspiration and be a part of it. I want to see them at my table. I want to build my legacy in a way where I have impacted people and given some sort of value that they can take with them and leave that type of impact. And I want to be able to build a family and have your own fortress and protect yourself from the BS that goes on in this modern age. If you can have a tight family, provide for them, do everything in your power to keep them safe and experience anything that you want without needing to think of it or hold yourself back, because you can. That is something I want to create, and I'm on the path, you know, and working so hard to do so, because for me that's the ultimate form of humanity, is creating loved ones and experiences with them and growing from there.